This is a CCEA mathematics paper. It is M8 paper 2, so it's a one with calculator, and it's from November 2021. Let's take a wee look then at question 1. Simplify 12x to the 5 divided by 3x cubed. So we take each bit separately. The 12 divided by 3 gives me the 4. X to the power of 5 divided by x to the power of 3. So we subtract the powers there, and we get x squared. 2x cubed y to the power of 4. So the 2 to the power of 4 is 16. The x cubed to the power of 4 is x to the power of 12, and the y to the power of 4 is y to the power of 4. Eva wants to find the nth term of this sequence. She starts knowing it's 4n, complete the nth term of the sequence. I'll just go from the start really. So I number them 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I find the gap, which is 4. So sure enough, Eva's right, it is indeed 4n. And then I substitute the number 1 into this here. 4 times 1 gives me 4, but I want 1. So it'll be 4n minus 3. So they already have the 4n bit in for you. You just need to do in the minus 3. Draw the graph of y equals 5 minus x squared. Use the table below to help you. So minus 2, substituting in here. Minus 2 squared, of course, gives me 4. So 5 take away 4 is 1. Minus 1 squared gives me 1. 5 take away 1 is 4. 0 then is going to be 5. Substitute in 2. 5 take away 4 is 1, and then 5 take away 3 squared, so 5 take away 9 is minus 4. So if I plot those in, minus 3 minus 4 is my first point, minus 3 minus 4, then minus 2 1, then minus 1 4, 0 5, 1 4, 2 1, and then 3 minus 4. And then I want to join these up. And so that's the curve then that we're looking for. Use the graph of y equals 5 minus x squared to solve 5 minus x squared equals minus 2. So it's y equals 5 minus x squared and y equals minus 2. So I need to draw the line y equals minus 2 on that and then read the information off. So if you go back to our graph on the previous page, and there's the line y equals minus 2. Remember, it's a horizontal line running across there, and it crosses here, and it crosses here. So that's going to be across 2.6, and obviously symmetrical, so it should be minus 2.6 then as well. So it is 2.6 or minus 2.6. Work out the size of an exterior angle of a 24-sided regular polygon. So if you have a 24-sided shape, it kind of looks like this, and the exterior angles look like this, and they're all exactly the same, and they all add up to 360. So if there's 24 of them, we do 360 divided by 24, and the answer then is 15. The sum of the interior angles of a regular polygon is 1800. Work out how many sides this polygon has. There's a wee formula for this which you can use. If you do 180 upon n minus 2 equals 1800, that would be fine. You can multiply that out, or you can divide by 180, but you get n minus 2 is 10, and obviously then n equals 12. The other thing you can do is just work your way up. It won't take too long. You're sitting with a calculator there, so just keep adding the 180s. Everyone knows that 3-sided polygon, as in a triangle, is 180. 4-sided is 360. So just keep going up on 180s, and you'll get there kind of after about 10 goes to get there and do 1800. On the grid, draw the enlargement of a quadratic scale factor a third, center minus 2, minus 1. So here's my minus 2, minus 1. So that's my center of enlargement, and then I want to just kind of go to each corner. So this one here is across 6 and up 3. So for scale factor a third, I divide that by 3. So instead of across 6, across 2. and then up 1. This one here is across 3 and up 6. So across 1 and up 2. This one here is across, many is that? This going from -2 to 7, so across 9 and up 3. So instead of going across 9 and up 3, I'm going to go across 3 and up 1. And then this one's here is from -2 to 10, so that's across 12 and then up 9, which you can just about see there. So 12 and 9 is then going to be 4 and 3. And so we end up then with that. So if we join those up, it should be our required shape. And that's it then, scale factor a third. Gina made a model of a pyramid. The model has a height of 5.4 and a volume of 300. She now plans to make a similar pyramid 4 times as large with a height of 21.6. What will the volume of the new pyramid be? So the lengths are in the ratio 1 to 4. 4 times this gives me this. It says that in the question, so it's 1 to 4. So that means the volumes are going to be in the ratio of 1 cubed to 4 cubed. So that's actually 1 to 64. So we got to do then the 300 times by 64. So you put that in your calculator. And we have 19200. Rob plans to travel to Australia by air. His choice of destinations in Australia are Adelaide, Brisbane, Melbourne, Perth and Sydney. He plans to make just one stop on the journey. He can stop at Singapore, Hong Kong, Bangkok or Dubai. How many different choices does he have for flying to Australia? So the stop off, first of all, he could go to either Singapore, Hong Kong, Bangkok or Dubai, and then from each of those he can go to either of Adelaide, Brisbane, Melbourne, Perth or Sydney. So it's 5 there, 5 there, 5 there, 5 there, so it's effectively 4 times 5, so he has 20 different options. The probability that it will snow in Enniskillen on Christmas Day in any year is 0.09. The probability of snow in Tokyo on Christmas Day in any year is 0.11. Work out the probability of snow in Enniskillen and in Tokyo. The word and there means we multiply, so 0.09 times 0.11. Just put in your calculator if you wish, but it's 9 times 11, which is 99, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 in the question, so it's 0.0099. Survey of patients in a GP surgery found that 9% were seen within 5 minutes, 63 had to wait between 5 and 10 minutes, and 28% had to wait longer than 10 minutes. Work out the probability that a patient chosen at random is seen within 10 minutes. So within 10 minutes are these two, so it's 9 plus 63, so that's 72%, and it's a probability, so we would write that then as 0.72. T varies as the square of d, so we would have t is proportional to d squared. Some people don't have that line. Their first line is t equals k d squared. We know that whenever d is 0.3, t is 10.8, so 10.8 equals k upon 0.3 squared. 10.8 equals 0.09 k. So k is 10.8 divided by 0.09. That gives me then 120. So express t in terms of d is going to be t is 120 d squared. Find a value of d for which t is 30. So if t is 30, then 30 is 120 d squared. D squared is 30 over 120, which is a quarter. D then could be a half or minus a half, and so it says find the value of d. So one of my values I found then is a half. Question 9 then, £1,000 is invested at 2% per annum compound interest. Circle the formula that gives the value of the investment after n years. So it will be 1,000 times 1.02 is my 2% to the power of n. So that's no good. That's no good. That's 1.02, but they have the n there. It's the 1,000 shouldn't be to the power of n, so it needs to be then this one here. Calculate the compound interest earned on £1,000 invested 2% per annum for 8 years. So I'm going to substitute then the number 8 into here. So it's 1,000 1.02 to the power of 8. That was 100. 1,000 multiplied 1.02. So £1171.66. £1171.66, and calculate the compound interest earned, of course. So that's how much they have in the bank. So it's £171.66. Explain clearly which of the diagrams below can represent triangles. So let me see, 15 and 20 and 37. So if you have 15 and 20 and you add them together, you get 35, and that's 37. That can't happen. If you do 37 and then do a 15 here and a 20 here, they can't reach each other. So that one's no good. So 15 plus 20 is less than 37. This one here, so I guess with that on the side opposite, and so we check and see. So we could use a sine rule for that, couldn't we? So we could have then sine 64 over 16 should equal sine 40 over 13. So let's check if that's true. Sine 64 equals divided by 16 equals 0.056, and then sine 40 0.049. So that doesn't work either, because they're not equal to each other. So that's then going to be a no. And then this one here would be the cosine rule, wouldn't it? Because we have then the kind of three sides. So our cosine rule again, we're given it here. If you need to look and see, there was my sine rule. I used the upside down version of that. We have a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos a. A is my angle there, so it's 120, and then that then would need to be my a. So I guess the question is then, does 26 squared equal 14 squared plus 16 squared minus 2 upon 14 upon 16 cos 120. So let's see, that's 196 plus 256. Take away 2 times 14 times 16 times cos 120, and that equals minus 224. So that actually turns into a 224. 224 plus 256 plus 196 equals 676. And if you check 26 squared, you do indeed get 676. So triangle C works. So C is a triangle. Draw the graph for y equals 3 to the power of x for the values between 0 and 4. So if I sub in 3 to the power of 0, of course I get 1. So that would be there. 3 to the power of 1 gives me 3. So that's there. 3 to the power of 2 gives me 9. 3 to the power of 3 is 27. And 3 to the power of 4 then is 81. So there's my graph there. It's actually easier if you can do it the inside of your hand, if that makes sense. Excuse me while I... So we end up then with that. In the graph above, Y pounds represents the value of one share in a company X years after purchase. What is the initial value of one share? So initial value means whenever X is 0, so the answer then would be £1. Describe what is happening to the value of the share each year. So after 1 year it's worth 3, then it's worth 9, then it's worth 27. So it's multiplying by 3, so it's times by 3 times by 3 each year. By drawing a suitable line on the graph, estimate the instantaneous rate of increase in the value of the share whenever X equals 3. Goodness. And so whenever X equals 3, by drawing a suitable line on the graph, so whenever X equals 3, we're going to try and draw like a kind of a tangent here. You can see that okay. And so we want to try and work out my vague gradient here on this graph. So let's just see if we can draw a wee triangle and just try our best, I guess, to try and estimate. So let me see somewhere where we can kind of pick a decent line here. So could I pick that point there? So that's the point 2, 2. And then there's another point. Let's make it nice and big. I suppose there. That is 451. 2, 2 and 451. So my gradient is the y difference, 49, over the x difference, over 2. 4 take away 2 is 2. So my rate then is 49 divided by 2. So at that stage we think it's 24.5 pounds per year. Because the rate of increase then is going to be that. Okay. On then to our final question. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H is a cuboid with sides 9, 12 and 16. Calculate the size of the angle A, E, C. So I need to go from A to E to C. So I need to find then the lengths of those. I actually need to find the lengths of the 3. So if I find the lengths of those 3 sides, I can lift out this triangle then, AEC. So that would be A, E and C, and then that's the angle that I'm looking for. So I need to use Pythagoras here with the 12 and the 9. So AE squared equals 12 squared plus 9 squared. 12 squared plus 9 squared gives me 225. For the AC, it's going to be 16 and 9. AC squared equals 16 squared plus 9 squared. So that's going to be 256 plus 81. So it's going to be 337. And then the other one I need is EC squared, which is going to be, that's there, so that's at 12 and 16. 12 squared plus 16 squared, which is 256 plus 144, and that's 400. And I have that. So here we have AE, which is the square root of 225. I'm keeping it as this because the numbers you'll see, the kind of numbers will be handier to deal with in just a wee second. EC is 400, and then this one is 337, and I'm now going to use the cosine rule, and I'm going to rearrange it to get it then to work for me. So my cosine rule is here again, it's on your thing, so I want to rearrange it to try and get the cos A bit on its own. So my cosine rule says a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos A. So taking this over to here, then it's cos A equals b squared plus c squared minus a squared all over 2bc. And so this here has to be my a, and the other two then don't matter. So b squared plus c squared minus a squared. B squared is 225. See how it was handier just to keep them as that? Plus 400 minus 337 all over 2. And the square root of 225 is 15. And the square root of 400 is 20. Hope I didn't lose you there. And that's cos A, B, C. If you put this in your calculator, let's see what we get. So we have on the top 225 plus 400 minus 337 all over 2 times 15 times 20 equals 12 over 25, which is 0.48. And then AEC is cos to minus 1, 0.48. So shift cos answer equals 61.3 degrees. 31 degrees. And we end up with that. Okay.